So in this video, we're gonna talk about fallacies and fraud. Before we talk about fallacies and fraud, we need to know and understand what is the meaning of argument because it has a link with fallacies. So, what is the meaning of argument? Argument is when someone making a point about a subject and supporting it with evidence. There are three types of evidence that can be used in any argument, which is logic, ethics, and also emotions. This will ensure that they give a strong argument. But what about a weak argument? Here it is. A weak argument, also known as a fallacy. A fallacy is a kind of error in reasoning. Also, it is a flaw in reasoning that detracts from the validity or soundness of any argument. There are a lot of types of fallacies. Some of it are circular reasoning, strawman argument, overgeneralization, black cat syndrome, and also appeal to the crowd. Firstly, circular reasoning. This happens when someone repeats an idea rather than giving a valid reason for their argument. Secondly, strawman argument. This may happen when someone gives a false characteristic to an argument and then attacks the argument based on those false characteristics. Thirdly, overgeneralization. And overgeneralization may happen when someone draws a conclusion about the entire group, topics, places, based on any insufficient evidence. Fourthly, black cat syndrome, which is also known as post hoc reasoning. This may happen when an individual uses a false cause, questionable cause, and also mistaking coincidence for any causes. Lastly, appeal to the crowd. This may happen when someone relies on the emotional passion of the crowd in making an argument. They may also play with the group's fears or prejudice at the time. Next, we will be looking at what is the meaning of fraud. Fraud is the intentional use of false or misleading information in an attempt of illegal deprive another person or entity of money, property, or legal rights. In order to constitute fraud, the party making the false statement must know or believe that it is untrue or incorrect and intended to deceive the other party. Fraud may be charged as both a criminal and civil offense. Criminal punishment for fraud can include a combination of prison and also fines. Nowadays, the world has been attacked by the coronavirus and it makes every single person in the world live in a panic life because of this virus, which can lead to death. Everyone is facing a challenging life and living in a fear. Looking for a safe place to live, looking for daily food to eat, and also searching for a healthy place from this virus. And while we are in the MCO, which is Movement Controlling Order, everyone have a lot of free time to create a news, either it is a true or fake news. So today we will focus on the current issue about coronavirus issues in Malaysia. Okay, so how can we relate fallacies and fraud during this pandemic issue of COVID-19 in Malaysia? Okay, now let's look into the fake news that has been spread widely in the social media. These are one of the example of fake news in the Twitter where one of the person tweet, Bazar Ramadan bagi tahun 2020 seluruh negara dibatalkan. Where after this tweet went viral in Twitter, she received almost 30,000 of retweet and 19,000 of likes. So this one will lead into the misleading information or fake news of the society. Meanwhile, the next day after this tweet went viral, the official account of RTM made a declaration and saying that this is a fake news. Where the title on the live show of RTM actually, Bazar Ramadan untuk Terengganu dibatalkan. It is not every negeri has cancelled their Bazar Ramadan, but just for Terengganu. And we understand that for the sake to be a tweet famous and went viral on the social media, everyone willing to create a fake news on the social media and making whoever read the tweet in panic situation. For this case, we can say that this person used overgeneralization fallacies since she used an insufficient evidence to make a conclusion about a group. As we can see, these are one of the example of fallacies and fraud that we have been facing without our notice in our era of globalization during this day. The seller stated in the description of the product that they are selling a surgical face mask, but end up their customer received a different product which is still a face mask but that are handmade with wedding paper bag and also a tissue inside. As we can see that there are fraud happen here because what have been described by the seller and what have been received by the buyer are two different products. But there are also some cases when seller already told clearly in the description about the product, but some of the buyers still want to play victim. For example, in this case, the seller already told clearly in the description of the product that the masks are 4-ply with picture and also detailed info of what it was made of, but there are still certain customers that play victim and say that they only know about the layer of the mask is 4-ply without knowing that the masks are not a surgical mask. This shows that they are using strawman fallacies by using a false characteristic in their argument. And they felt like they are being lied and involved in fraud cases while actually the fraud are coming from themselves, which they are not alert. Although during this pandemic situation of COVID-19 that happened in all over the world, there are still a lot of fraud and fallacies happen in our country. In total of 426 fraudulent face mask sale cases that have been reported. Okay guys, that's all. We hope you guys enjoy the video and gain a new knowledge. Have a nice day.